They called him Mute, the human who never spoke during missions, who always sat at the back of the dropship with that blank, unreadable stare. The alien recruits laughed, said he was slow, maybe broken. But when the beacon screamed distress and the squad was pinned down by invisible hunters, it wasn't their commanders or their tech that saved them. It was the quiet human who stood up, calm, steady. And when the enemy whispered his call sign in terror, even the stars seemed to hold their breath. They called him Reaper. If that opening gave you chills, stick around, because what comes next isn't just a war story. It's a reminder of why humans are feared legends across the stars. So before we dive into the chaos, hit that like, subscribe, and share this story with your fellow sci-fi fans. It helps more people discover these hidden HFY gems. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. The new recruits had seen humans before. Loud, reckless, unpredictable creatures who laughed in the face of death. But this one was different. Lee Joon sat apart from the others, helmet in his lap, eyes fixed on the floor of the transport bay. The alien soldiers from the Geron League whispered among themselves, their mandibles twitching in amusement. "Does he even speak?" one of them hissed. "Maybe he's defective," another snickered. Joon didn't respond. He simply checked his weapon, a standard-issue plasma rifle perfectly maintained, then closed his eyes. The motion was so deliberate, so calm, that it silenced even the laughter for a moment. When the sergeant barked orders, Joon moved like clockwork, efficient, silent, precise. No wasted motion, no hesitation. The others exchanged uneasy glances. There was something unnatural about that kind of control. Later, around the campfire, one of the younger recruits asked the veteran sergeant, "What's his story?" The sergeant didn't look up from sharpening his blade. "You don't want to know," the alien frowned. "Why?" The sergeant's voice dropped low. "Because if you knew what he's done, you'd stop laughing." And still, Joon said nothing. The patrol was supposed to be simple. A scan of the ridge, collect soil samples, return before dusk. The kind of mission new recruits got to build confidence. But halfway through the canyon, the scanners glitched. One by one, the radar signatures vanished. No warning, no sound. Just gone. "Jamming field," hissed the squad leader. "Negative," came a trembling reply. It's like the terrain's eating the signal." Then came the scream. A sharp, metallic cry from the vanguard, cut off mid-breath. Plasma bolts lit the rocks, but there was nothing to shoot at. Shadows flickered and moved where nothing stood. The Gerons fired blindly, shouting in panic. Training dissolved into chaos. Every instinct screamed to run, except for one man. Lee Joon knelt slowly, eyes scanning the horizon through his visor. His heart rate steady, his breathing calm. His finger traced something on the ground. Claw marks, but too symmetrical, too deliberate. He tapped his comm once. "Ambush," his voice finally spoke, the first word anyone had heard him say. And before the squad could respond, the canyon erupted in blue fire. The quiet man had already taken cover. He wasn't surprised. He was waiting. The canyon had become a graveyard of echoes. Plasma bolts cut through smoke, lighting twisted shadows against the jagged rock. The aliens shouted orders no one could follow. Panic spread like wildfire until one of them froze mid-sentence, staring at his helmet display. "Wait, that signal," he gasped. "The enemy's comm chatter. They're saying a name." Lee Joon turned his head slightly. His visor gleamed in the dim blue light. "What name?" the sergeant demanded. The alien swallowed hard. "They called him Reaper." Silence fell across the channel. Even the gunfire seemed to hesitate, as if the word itself had weight. Every soldier, human or not, knew the legend. The Terran operative from the Ghost Wars, the one entire fleets had refused to face again. A human who never spoke, who never missed. The squad leader turned to Joon, eyes wide. That's not... But Joon didn't answer. He simply reloaded, stood, and started walking toward the sound of enemy fire. The squad hesitated only a moment before following. Because when the universe whispers a name in fear, you either run or stand behind the man who owns it. The ambushers circled, invisible, fast, confident. They thought they had cornered prey. Then Joon moved. No words, no shouted orders, just motion, clean, calculated, terrifyingly efficient. He darted between cover like a ghost, firing only once per target, never missing. Each shot was a command the squad didn't need spoken. The aliens watched, stunned. When he crouched, they crouched. When he advanced, they advanced. Somehow, without sound, he was leading them. A blast tore through the ridge, knocking the squad flat. One soldier screamed, until Joon slid across the dust, shielded them with his armor, and threw a grenade with perfect timing. The explosion painted the night in fire. The creatures that survived hesitated. They'd hunted countless worlds, but never met this kind of calm, this human stillness before death. When the smoke cleared, Joon stood alone, rifle lowered, visor cracked, a faint burn across his cheek. He exhaled once. Clear. That single word hit harder than any speech. The squad didn't cheer. They didn't dare. They just looked at him, the man they mocked, and realized they hadn't fought beside a recruit. They'd fought beside the Reaper. When dawn finally broke, the canyon looked like another planet. Scorched rock, melted sand, smoke curling into the thin blue sky. The air still carried the metallic scent of plasma fire. The squad moved slowly, checking survivors, silent in the aftermath. No jokes now, no whispers, only the distant hum of cooling weapons. Joon sat on a boulder, helmet off, blood drying along his jaw. His eyes were distant, not haunted, just tired. The kind of tired that comes from fighting too long and surviving too often. One of the younger aliens finally approached. "You saved us," he said quietly. "Why didn't you tell us who you were?" Joon looked up, expression unreadable. "Would you have listened?" The alien hesitated, then lowered his gaze. "No, we wouldn't have." A faint smile touched Joon's lips, a rare human kind of warmth. "Then you learned something better." "What's that?" "That names don't win battles. People do." He stood, holstered his rifle, and walked toward the rising light. The others followed without question, and from that day on, no one called him mute again. They called him what the galaxy feared most, the Human Reaper.